Happy New Year, all you wonderful podcast listeners. For the 2025 start, I kind of wanted to look at the top concerns for every dental practice, and so I dragged in my sweetheart, Tracy. Say hi.
Hello, everyone.
I'm excited she's with me today. And with the beginning of the new year, I decided to Google what the top 3 to 5 concerns were for dentists in their practices, and we begin our podcast right there.
Welcome, all of you fantastic dental podcast listeners, to the My Practice, My Business Dental Podcast Show, where we help dentists profit and thrive with excerpts from the clinical business of dentistry training here at My Practice, My Business. We'll be addressing and answering questions with current trends dentists and their teams face each and every day in their pursuit of this wonderful career we call dentistry. And now, the host of our show, the clinical director and president at My Practice, My Business, Dr. Rob Thorup.
So, sweetheart, when I Googled these top concerns, it's really interesting. And the top 3 to 5 concerns that Google is reporting on, it depended on what company was actually putting them out. So it's centered around the business entity answering that question on Google, and I guess it's worth definitely worth diving into, because the top concerns and solutions vary with who's being asked. Consultants versus software companies versus the ADA all seem to have different answers. So having said that, I believe I've narrowed down the concerns with one simple answer to all of them, and that answer is procedural profitability. Surprise. So here we go. With AI, the top 3 concerns were: 1, staffing issues due to workforce shortages and staffing challenges; 2, financial pressures, meaning rising operating costs, stagnant insurance reimbursement levels, billing and collections, and managing overhead costs. The third one was regulatory compliance, meaning infection control standards, privacy laws, documentation requirements, and changing regulatory standards. And other challenges in the list included increasing revenue to raise profits, mentioning marketing services to attract new patients, and practice ownership by individual dentists. That was another one that was interesting. The ADA has shown that solo practice ownership has dropped from 84.7% in 2005 down to 73% in 2021. What I find is interesting is all the time that we look at where all this stuff's going on the solo practices, it really is not, it's like stabilized. It's been stable for how many years now?
Well, and even looking at some of the statements that are out there right now, they're talking about DSOs actually slowly going away due to private equity not making as much as they thought. So it'd be interesting to watch over the next 5 years whether or not that number increases, and I expect it will.
Yeah, I completely agree. Let's dig down a little deeper let's go to point 1, staffing issues. And it's been stated that a shortage of staff can lead to longer wait times for appointments. Agreed. Reduced practice capacity. Agreed. Difficulties scheduling complex procedures. Yeah, I can see that one too. And overall disruption to daily operations. And I would tend to agree if you are the type of practice that crams a schedule in hopes of profitability, definitely. But when you're profitable by procedure, you no longer need to work your guts out every minute of every day, doc. Your hygienists, they don't need to be double booked with back pains and career burnout. And the most affected roles, I think, with the shortages seem to be the hygienists and dental assistants. At least that's what we've seen among the Intermountain states. And it's suggested that the problem revolves around not enough training programs in each state. We saw the advent of COVID-19 scare so many hygienists out of the profession and assistants, but it seems like per capita, more hygienists left the profession. That negatively impacts interest of students, right, wanting to enter dentistry for the first time. I know that was a problem. In rural areas, oh my gosh, our poor friends in rural areas, they're always battling staffing issues, and the workforce is definitely aging with fewer replacements, right? So the one staffing issue that seems to be a major contributor, though, is burnout. dentistry is definitely not an easier career to work in. And dental team members, they mention the stress levels and demanding work schedules as their main issue working in the dental profession. But the main problem seems to be compensation and benefits.
I would agree 100% with that.
Yeah. Often they're referencing other jobs out there that pay more and have less stress. And I mean, I've even had people say McDonald's is paying more than most offices are paying.
And that's what I would interject is if you're booking the schedule, you're cramming the schedule, you're running double hygiene, you're not focusing on cross training, and at the same time you focus on insurance company low reimbursements without knowing the rules, you can't afford to pay people what they deserve and what they should have based on just you can't pay what you don't have. And so I can see where this could be an issue for a lot of people who don't know the rules.
That's so true. We've hammered that how many times? Probably hammer it 20 more times just
Absolutely.
in Q1 of 2025. And how can a dental business pay more and offer more benefits when practice profitability seems to be the major concern for over 95% of dental practices? And think about that, all the operational problems with staffing issues. If the dental profession paid well and offered benefits comparable to other corporate entities, like Costco, I mean, I've seen people leave to go to work for Costco. I believe we could attract more qualified individuals into the dental workforce. But I know that dental offices who offer competitive pay and benefits, they tend not to have staffing experiences that others have when they pay and offer, the least possible to their employees. Those offices that, can't afford to keep them aren't keeping them. But how does a dental business stay competitive with the workforce? And it's simple. Just comes down to that, the top focus again with procedural profitability instead of cramming the schedule that tends to cause team burnout, which I just put a plug in for our company. We don't have our trainees that implement what we teach and train on, they just don't have these problems because they're able to pay their teams more, right?
Absolutely.
Let's dig down a little deeper on point 2, financial pressures. And this is one that we've seen a lot of offices, like when we had the CQI meeting here in Utah, the continuous quality improvement meeting, they had a doc talk on wellness, and one of the key components is financial stability in the dental practice. And if you don't understand state laws and contracts, financial pressures are a major deal. The contributor is rising operating costs. And in the last 4 years, the cost of living, it's increased by over 24%. We've all experienced supplies go up by 22%. And even, like gloves and masks came down in price quite a bit, but all the rest of the stuff has stayed right up there. And being a full service CEREC dental practice that we are, I can't speak for dental labs, but I do know that dental labs should be charging way more than they currently do, in my opinion. I mean, I used to own one. Don't ever. If you guys think you want to open a dental lab, talk to me first. I'll talk you out of it. But rents have increased. Team lunches have gone up with pizza and hamburgers. And then there's hygienist salaries in the nation, across the nation, because of supply and demand. The bottom line, our entire overhead costs are up over 24% in under 4 years. That has exceeded the consumer price index, right?
And I was laughing because I was talking to a couple of dentists about what they were doing before training to lower their overhead ultimately.
Oh no.
And we had random things that they were doing to kind of reduce that. But what was funny was I was online the other day and I saw an office manager complain that the doctor had limited the amount of toilet paper available to 8 women to 1 roll a day.
That's a mutiny waiting to happen.
That's going to be a problem. So would you toilet paper?
I don't even think I could live by that rule.
That's very true. But isn't that amazing though that they're so
have they been able to raise their fees by 24% in the last 4 years?
They don't believe that they can.
Have dental insurance reimbursements increased 24% over the last 4 years? I mean, all these people are sending in their fee-for-service fees, so I'm sure they've gone up 24+%, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when dental practice owners don't raise their fees with cost of living index or any increase in operational costs. Something has to give, Operation goes up. Direct operating cost per hour, what we love to call it. Yeah, something's going to break. And with solo dentists, it comes out of their salary. The individual practice owner, where else does it come from? It's not, it comes from repression of the salaries of the team members, right? You can't save your way into prosperity. All these consultants out there, we need to get better supply costs, better lab costs. What is that? Save 2 to 3% of the gross profit of the practice? No. Oh my gosh. No stress there, right? Once a dentist has had enough of salary reductions, they then keep their dental team salary on a freeze. And that oftentimes they look at eliminating high-priced team members and they replace them with newer, cheaper team members. I've seen that before.
Or they've actually absorbed the job into other jobs. And so we've seen team members suddenly saying, oh, well, this person's gone. I'm going to have to take over that job for a little bit. And that ends up being forever.
And then, I was just going to say, it's a forever change. They don't get replaced. Dental businesses, they just can't draw from a dry well. And the well doesn't fill up with cash flow unless procedural profitability is realized with every dental procedure. And yes, there is a way to accomplish procedural profitability with your PPO plan patients. It's called training with us here at My Practice, My Business. I might have more on that later. I don't know. Sometimes I go on my diatribe. Sometimes I don't. How about the dental investment group that I just showed you? The one guy comes out and says, all you guys that are quitting, dental insurance plans, and it's like, that's a problem more times than not. Yeah. And I'm going, that's so true. And why would you, when I see all the support of people, quit them, counsel them. Honestly, honey, you know what they're saying to us? They've never read the contract. They don't understand their state laws and contractual obligations from LEPAT to MEPAT services.
I love how these insurance companies, if you read these things, they actually tell you what you can do to be profitable as long as you follow their rules.
Let's take a deeper dive on point 3, regulatory compliance. Now, I was really interested when I saw this. I'm like,
yeah.
We're not slammed with regulatory compliance here in the free state of Utah, but there's other states that they got a lot of crap they have to deal with. So I don't think this is as much an issue as it was when COVID hit, but I was personally grateful. I do practice here in the free state of Utah where common sense prevails. Some of you aren't as fortunate and you had regulations placed on you that lacked scientific backing. Do we even need to go there? One of the many questions all of you should be asking is, why was there an OSHA code that magically reappeared in our dental lives where we could charge patients for gloves and masks due to COVID-19, and then suddenly it's eliminated again? That OSHA code was created back during the AIDS pandemic in the 80s because of the increase in cost of goods of gloves and masks. Why did the ADA allow the code to be removed from the CDT codebook in the first place? Why did the ADA allow dental insurance companies to eliminate paying on the code, let alone lobby for its removal? And how much do gloves and masks increase our direct operating costs each day, month, year? Who made the executive decision in our profession that those items should be inclusive with every procedure? I often, honey, sometimes wonder if dental association leaders even understand the direct operating costs with each procedure in today's market, let alone years ago. How many of them actually practiced out of corporate and own their own practice, let alone, well, we know the answer to that, though. That's stupid. How many of them actually understood business principles? None of them.
Very, very rare. And some of them weren't even dentists, some of these association leaders. So that's where it gets frustrating.
Good point. Switching gears, I know many dental practices don't use procedural consent forms for dental procedures. They claim they don't do it because they don't have the time. I don't have the time to print out the documents, waste paper, money, ink. I don't think it's necessary, they say, because they have a perfect relationship with their patients who would never in this world litigate under any circumstances, right?
How many times have we heard from the malpractice insurance carriers that if they found that out, that doctor would be dropped from the plan?
I know. I wonder how many of them actually drop them, or if they just use it as a threat.
Mm.
You know,
Should look
because
into that.
when dentists get sued and they haven't used consent forms and the insurance company has to pay out on it, that hurts everybody who's doing the right way, doing the right thing. So may I suggest with the upcoming year, 2025, you guys adopt procedural consent on every procedure you do? Make procedural consent a regulatory compliance commandment in your dental practice. That would be a good one. And again, regulatory compliance issues are not on my top 5 concerns for dental practices nationwide, but I wanted to address it since it apparently is an issue with many of you out there in dentistry. Well, at least according to the surveys that the companies are taking, I just struggle with that one, though, as being a major thing. Increasing revenue came in at the number 4 position. However, you guys, I feel it mistakenly got spun out of the number 2 issue, as it really comes under financial pressures, which is the top dog. One thing that's always overlooked when talking about increasing revenue in a dental practice is whether it's gross revenue or net revenue. And like I've said so many times, you can increase production to increase revenue all day long, but if it's not profitable revenue or production, profitable production, I should say, then the dental business is simply spinning their wheels, and cash flow is not going to increase commensurate with killing the team on the schedule.
Sorry, I'm just thinking about all those phone calls I get from team members complaining exactly about that.
I know. So here's some concluding thoughts. 1, staffing concerns are an issue, definitely. Number 2, rising costs to run our dental businesses are an issue. And 3, stagnant insurance reimbursement rates are an issue. So those top 3 issues seem to sum up all other major issues within them. And in my humble opinion, it comes down to one solution for all of them, and that is practice profitability. More specifically, procedural profitability. But how does a dental business experience continual practice procedural profit margins when dental plans control reimbursement rates? And when our dental associations seem to be solving problems that have very little or nothing to do with procedural profitability. And please, don't wait for the American Dental Association to come to your rescue, let alone your state associations to come to your rescue. It's imperative for all of us to learn business principles that are not surrounded in the status quo of social media groups that have no idea what the crap they're talking about when it comes to dental insurance contracts and state laws governing dental practice billing capabilities. I don't know, honey. I'm proud to say that no dental consulting company tackles procedural profitability like we do here at My Practice, My Business. And I say our downcoding, Tracy, honestly, this should be Tracy's law. Tracy's downcoding and bundling protections law that she and I wrote and got passed here in Utah has now been copied in the great state of Tennessee. Yes. Congratulations, Tennessee. I hope I've got some listeners out there, because you're the first state to actually do it. And I hope you guys know how to apply it. If you don't, call us. And other states are soon to follow, right? Some are working on it right now that you know about.
Absolutely. And that's what we hoped would happen.
And even in Utah, where the law originated, so many dental practices have no idea how to apply it, and many don't even know about it. That's embarrassing. Even the non-covered services law that was passed, years ago in 46 states, has dental practices applying it, for procedural profitability. Are you beginning to see the problem that exists in our dental profession? They don't know how to apply it.
Well, see, and I wanted to say ignorance is bliss, but it's not blissful, obviously. And so I think the number one thing that I just want to bang my head against the wall, because there are laws available in most states that will protect you when it comes to your profitability. And if you don't know it, how you've got to. I mean, that's the bottom line. You have got to understand these laws and be confident when you do push back against these dental insurance plans, because they're depending on you not knowing these things.
Yeah, They don't want you to know.
No.
It's so true. Who doesn't want you to know?
Well, the insurance companies.
Sure seems like the dental associations don't want you to know either, because they're not actively engaged in training these at every dental convention.
Well, do you remember we were up at a dental association and we had to teach them the state laws because they had no idea?
Actually, I'm bringing that up on another podcast because an article got written and some of our clients in Washington shared that article with us. And I'm like, oh, I got to write one up on this. This is ridiculous.
Amazing.
So yeah, that's coming. Don't worry. So,
Oh,
dentists nationwide, they complain about these practice issues that we've covered, yet what are y'all doing to make a business change in your dental businesses? That's my question. The answer is business training, obviously, with our team here at My Practice, My Business. Dental association leaders, and I hate to say it, the majority, and when I say the majority, I think if I said 95%, I would be kind. Mm-hmm. Saying 95% are clueless to the amazing business training you receive from us. They just don't know dental insurance contracts and state laws like we do here at MPMB. They choose to blame third-party payers for their woes and your woes and don't learn to play with them instead of against them. And at MPMB here, we have found that symbiotic relationship with the large majority of dental insurance plans so that we can be profitable with every procedure we perform. That's right. You can be profitable. But when I say profitable with every procedure you perform, honestly, Trace, I don't even know how many practicing dentists understand that term.
yeah.
Oh, there's only one dental insurance company residing in 3 states that force us, all of us, to utilize the cheapest quality of deliverable dentistry. And all the rest of the insurance companies are golden and encourage us to train all of you. I mean, how many times have we had insurance reps say, hey, you guys are doing a good job for, our clients, training the dentists on our panel to be able to offer more expensive professionally accepted treatment instead of cheap stuff. And thank you so much. It actually makes our jobs easier, they say. What a concept, hon.
I still think of that one rep who told us, my goal is not to bankrupt these dentists. That would be a bad thing for me.
Oh, seriously. What are y'all waiting for? Give us a call. Get scheduled for the most amazing dental business training you're ever going to receive. And just ask any of our trained clients if they would recommend training with us and if they would take it again. Just ask them. All of them will tell you to stop wasting time and money and sign up. And to all of our clients listening to our podcast, thank you for allowing us to train you, your team, and your colleagues that you refer to us. And we appreciate your referrals. Mm-hmm. That means a lot to Tracy and I and our entire team here at My Practice, My Business. We hope to see the rest of you listeners who have not been in our training. We hope to see you soon. Thanks so much from Tracy and I.
Have a great day.
We appreciate you guys. Take care.
Thank you for being with us today. Since 2006, My Practice, My Business has been teaching dentists and their teams business skills, dental insurance contractual protocols, and state laws governing how to profitably bill patients fairly for the need-based services they provide. What's more, we guarantee our training, unlike other dental consulting companies in the industry. Simply stated, if you don't increase your net revenue, we don't get paid. We call it dental consulting the way it should be. We believe there has never been a more important time than now for dentists to experience and implement our key methods, knowledge, and business training within their dental practices. To learn more about our guaranteed, no-risk clinical business of dentistry training that is changing dental practices for the better, just go to our website, mypracticemybusiness.com, and surf our pages for additional information about our company and the services we provide. When you're ready, give us a call and get scheduled for the most profitable dental business training that you will ever experience. If you enjoyed our podcast, please leave us a 5-star review. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to call us. Thank you again and have a fantastic day.